Well, that's an interesting way to start a recording. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is working correctly. Yes. Okay. Starting this off. This is like the 15th time I've done this recording. It just gets way too long, and I've decided I'm going to like try to make this condensed as possible. So hopefully it won't go more than like 10 minutes. If it does, well, you can call me a liar. Okay. If it does, you can blame the technical difficulties. Okay, Nunu gets killed right here by Zack and Thresh. Yeah. But this right here is kind of a large mistake, and if it's something you make too often, is something that'll complete through your lane. Your Maokai support, it's weird. Ended up getting chunked and backed. Didn't help the fact that he came late, but you know, these things happen. But you push up way too far, and you do have a ward here, but if Thresh, it didn't really mean much, given that Thresh just as easily got to you, because you were standing about way over here. So whenever you know like you are basically alone in lane, and you know the enemy support and enemy jungler are still up, try to like keep your distance, maybe stay within experience range. It doesn't end up like factoring into too much in this game because effectively it's just the sports trade kills. But in other games it might be more of an issue, so definitely something to keep an eye out on. No. It's not that far. Ah. Okay. This ends up being, it's a really risky play in itself, given that you flash forward and to get the Thresh kill, but I mean, you get the kill and it's not that big of a deal. But right here you chase after Jinx, and you do signal Maokai back, kind of like, which I can understand. But you also, you go aggressive. Now that Maokai put the thing into, you ult him here, and all this up to here is really fine. You heal for him, you see Zack, but you keep going to attack Jinx. The second you healed and maybe even autoed, you should have just like ran back, because in this situation you're not going to get a kill. At most you'll end up trading, and that is extremely unlikely. So yeah, just trust your guts more. Don't be scared to run. You're an ADC, trading kills often isn't even worth it, because you want to be allowed to farm most of the time. Trading kills in the league in general isn't usually worth it. Okay. Go on. I can't go being lost now. Okay. There's also this little scene here which kind of encapsulates the best and worst of your misfortune. You can have really, really good ults, and I think it's clear with a lot of the things you do. You have a little pathing error there, and that's kind of problematic. This is a really good ult, given that like Thresh is extremely low on mana, and your two front lines, your Nunu and your Maokai, are tanking up for you, and basically standing right on top of your face. It's a good ult. You get good damage on both Thresh and Fiora, which ends up paying off in the long run. Here you're chasing. You kind of mess up your autos a little bit. Yeah, you can't stall over there. Actually, you probably could have definitely gotten that kill much easier. Just like not canceling those two autos, but you know, auto canceling happens. Something, and this is kind of the worst of your misfortune. You have a habit, I don't know if it's like the way you're clicking or whatever, that you end up running into the enemies and ending up in melee range. In this entire exchange, you're not really pushing, you're not walking or like trying to kite backwards as much as you're kind of like standing and facing Fiora head on. If she wasn't 1 in 3, she probably would have gotten the kill on you. So be careful about that. Try to kite backwards in these fights. There's a good example of you doing it fairly well later on. And I will probably end up cutting that very soon. And yeah, actually, I think this is it here. Okay. Spoilers, Fiora's in this bush over here. Well, she's taking Scuttle Cat, but she's right over here. Right off the bat, everything is more or less fine. You're staying close to your teammates. You know where she is. But something you could be doing right now, and it's important to state simply because Nunu is on this side of the jungle, and you do have, what, 3 wards just along here, is you're playing really close to this side of the map when you could be playing a lot closer to this side. This might sound minor, but see how you're very far on just one side of the map? Fiora comes out of the woodworks, literally. You get your ult damage off, which honestly doesn't amount to a terrible amount. And Fiora goes hard at you. Though with like cast exhausting for you, dropping damage, you kite this out fairly well. Like, I'm not a very good ADC, so I'm gonna say you kite it out extremely well, and we'll be generous about that. But you also get chunked out really hard because you did get caught off guard. And if you were on, let's say, this half of the map as opposed to this half, or I guess you would position Fiora out here, and yeah, you would have ulted about here, it would have been a lot safer for you, and you probably wouldn't have gotten chunked out of the fight so soon. So basically, position around vision. So, or I guess play to your strong side. We don't need to watch this. I fucked this up entirely. Huh, did you know Jinx fires Molotov cocktails from her guns as rockets? I never knew that. Huh. Learn something new every day. Let's see. The next fight, I think, is us just cleaning house. Yeah. Yeah, we trade towers here. Huh. Okay, well, I'm just gonna come back to here because it's close I can get to. Oh, this is already 9 minutes. Goodness. Sorry about that. There's a lot of tech. If I was probably better at editing, I'd probably edit these things together, but I'm not. I TP back to defend tower. Only thing I can do, I probably could have TP back to earlier, to be honest. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing too. For right here, there's nothing you do wrong in particular, but when you take a tower, like an inhib tower, it's honestly best to just start like pinging people back. Way too often in situations like this, people get way too greedy and just run in and die, aka Maokai. So this isn't really a big tip for you, but it's a useful tip if you're in ranked. I mean, you might have like 20% less chance that they'll do that. Okay. This is ironically when you make a comment about not getting any appeal, and you're going to see why it's a pretty bad comment to make in this situation. Okay, we pick up that kill because of Baron Spikes. You pick it up with Make It Rain. And you, Maokai is being engaged on. He goes right on to Jinx. More or less, this is alright. But you keep running in. This is a fight that you probably break down in like a lot of detail, but when you're basically within what I think would be ult range, about right here, I'd say right here would be ideal. Ulting right here, right now, would basically guarantee damage on everybody, and you would be more or less fine. Why is Maokai's ult flickering? That's odd. I guess it's just an effect because it's toggle. But you would have landed on everyone. Instead, you kind of just run up to Thresh. I think you start off by out-attacking a minion, but you run up to Thresh and you focus him down really hard. This is largely problematic because you get no damage onto Fiora. And also, as you position through the fight, has to be probably easier for me, you actually move more and more closer to this wall here, giving yourself no room to move back. If you move up towards over here, you're moving towards both Nunu, and you're moving towards like an actual escape. So, yeah, Miss Fortune is heavily a caster AD carry. It looks like I'm going to push this up to 15 minutes, unfortunately. Heavily a caster AD carry, and you need to get your ultimate off, especially if you're building lethality, because you don't have the consistent crit damage from your auto attacks that the consistent damage you get from crit from your auto attacks. Wow, messed that up. But yeah, you want to be able to get your abilities off, and definitely your ult, because that is your strongest point when you're running lethality. What else is there? That is fine. There's a little bit about this, but I'm going to skip over it mainly because it's more splitting hairs and preference. Splitting hair and preference. Okay, right here, okay, quick background. I don't want to rewind because rewinding with this thing is weird. Quick background on what happened here. We overchased. I overchased. Let's put it on me. And you guys backed out fairly early. I drop a quick assistance ping. You may want to work on like your actual response. I think you were farming minions pretty heavily, but 3 CS isn't worth what you might have picked up for coming over here. You are in a really strong spot, being 13, 4, 9. So your damage earlier onto like this fight would make basically a world of difference for you and for me, and from generally just how this game plays out. But that isn't actually the part I'm focusing on. Don't worry, I'm not being so selfish as, why aren't you coming back me up, bruh? Okay, you put down an ult basically on a Thresh, which I can say isn't the best, but At the same time, I guess isn't the worst. You do want to watch out for like just solo ulting the support because he usually have CC to stop you, and he does end up stopping you in this particular situation. Something I do want to check real quick, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong. Yeah, no, I was kind of thinking that you might be able to get in the bush and ults right there, but yeah. You ults, and he gets the hook to stop you. But the important part about this is who you focus in this fight. Now, it might be easy to say you should focus ADC because it does the most damage. And up until this point right here, you are correct. But you run to a big issue here where you really focus down Jinx hard. Oh gosh. Ah, no. Back. Ugh, I hate doing this so much. Not the video thing, but I hate having messed around with like going back. But you're focusing Thresh and you have full stacks on him for armor shred. You getting hooked is actually immensely bad. See, this is part of what I mean, but I'm not sure whether or not focusing ulting right there would have even be considered a good idea. But you run for Jinx extremely hard. In this situation, going possibly kiting backwards towards the bush here would have been a better call as opposed to running at Jinx, largely because she outranges you, and it does ultimately come down to that. You are slowed by a Thresh already, and you cannot get into range to fight him, so you ultimately end up dying. So in like 1v1 fights with AD carries with longer range than you want to try to like kite backwards, or just hard on engage, but you were never going to engage on that situation. I still have no, it's not on slow speed. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about. Oh gosh, this video is going to 20 minutes again. This is the last one I'm making, so I'm just going to upload it. I'm very. Oh no. No. There's actually two things I need to talk about. How dare I? 1 second. Right here. Right here, you get picked off by Eve, and if this happens in like solo queue games, this might actually help prevent it. When you're farming, you walk right up to these minions here. Eve's gonna come out from the bush right here and come and gank you. But if you were standing at, let's say, max range right here, your flash would have taken you well, probably right here. You could have walked and flashed and gotten yourself much closer to the tower, much sooner, which would have probably caused you to trade 1-for-1 in this situation. So yeah, when you're farming mid to late game, make sure to wait for the wave to crash to tower, or to make sure you're positioning it like as far back as you can. So let's say you're back here and you're like landing hits, as opposed to like pushing up too close. Because trust me, I know this as someone who plays divers, it will cause people to have a lot harder time killing you in like those 1v1 situations. Plus minions aren't going anywhere. There's no need to like run to them. lastly, there's this Baron fight. Okay, you're up. I'm up. We're at 0.5 speed. You do something really weird here, where you do a lot of waiting, a lot of like standing around, a lot of waiting, and you make this mistake right here. It's a very bad mistake. What? Heck. That was weird. Okay, you make this mistake right here. You see Eve topside, and we know where Eve is, but you run up towards her when it would be much easier for you to run next to Maokai. You already know that this area here is more or less safe because he ran through it first. Run next to Maokai, and get close to Baron, because if you're close to the Baron, especially because you are MF and you have your ult, you could have definitely been here by the time Maokai got here, and you could have definitely laid down a fairly decent ults when he probably jumped in here. You do also take a second, I won't go back because again, issues. You do take a second to actually follow me to Baron, which is a bit problematic, because even if you're ahead of me, I can still kind of protect you there. I wonder, this is actually a mistake by Cassiopeia right here. If she ults right over this wall, it would have actually got a stun at least 3 people. As opposed to ulting right now, where it's just going to slow. You kind of get decimated because, well, we've already used up most of our tools for this. I stun, go for the damage, but you get jinxed ult and died. Oh my goodness, this took a while. I'm sorry. I hope you don't mind going through all this. It's... I know I rambled a lot, and a lot of talking to you on. On a whole, you didn't... On a whole, there's a lot of things in this game that you did correctly, but there's a lot of things that you could have avoided and definitely could have kept you alive. So, I don't know. Considering the future? Any questions? If you're annoyed by the length, I'm sorry. Just ask me over League. But yeah, if it seems like I'm harping on you, I'm not. Trust me, I make a ton of mistakes, and I could go through this entire game myself and find every mistake I make, and there are numerous. But yes, I hope this helps, and I will talk to you on League.